y'all. So today I'm going to show you how I make a bow. When I did my last video on the bunny door hanger, I made a bow, and a couple of you said you went too fast. I couldn't see what you were doing. Another person said, can you please make a video on showing me how to make a bow? So I'm going to do that today. Now, like I said in the video, you know, I make the bow the way I make the bow. I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's wrong. It just works for me. So that's how I make a bow. So that is what I'm going to show you how to do today. So your supplies, you're going to need some kind of ribbon. Just depends on what you're making, what you're going to use. A pair of scissors and something to tie your bow together. And that is it for your supplies. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. I'll show you how I make a bow. Okay, so when I'm going to make a bow, of course I'm going to choose what kind of ribbon goes well with my project. So for instance, the one that I made with the Easter Bunny was of course Eastery, and I wanted the pastel colors, the Easter colors. I thought that was so pretty and it matched my bunny so well. But there are a couple of different kinds of ribbon that you can purchase. Now I love to purchase the ribbon with the wires in it. So there are wires on each side of the ribbon. See right here and right here. So you can bend that and shape that so much easier. And anyway, it usually says these wired ribbon. It usually tells you on there if it's wired, and if it doesn't, you can just test it, you know, and it's very obvious when there is wire in there, but that is normally the kind that I always use. Now you can also get ribbon that is printed on both sides the same, no matter which way you turn it. You know, it doesn't matter. It's going to be the same on both sides. Now, there's also ribbon that you can purchase that is not the same on both sides. Of course, this is kind of see-through, but it's got the little glittery circles all over. But on this side, you can kind of see them, but that is not. It's not on this side. So when you make this kind of, when you use this kind of ribbon, you're going to have to do a little bit more work to your bow. And I'll kind of show you on this, but I'm actually going to show you how to make this first, because this is very easy. You don't have to do a lot of twist and turn. But when you are making a bow, and you've got the beginnings of your bow right, whoop, let me get it in the frame. When you're making your bow, and you've got the beginnings of your bow right here. See, that is the beginning of my bow always. Just this simple little half a bow right here, see right here, and then here's the tail. And you can make this as long as you want. But when your ribbon is only finished off on one side, you are going to, when you get to this point, you're going to have to twist it so that this side, when you make this bow, then the outside, the little sparkly, see the little sparkly dots there, they are going to make the bow on this side, and the right side of your bow is going to be showing. But you're going to have to do that every time you come over onto this side, because see, now it's facing the right way when I make my next loop like so. Now see, if I was to just keep going and make another loop over here, then the wrong side would be showing. So when you have material, a ribbon that is not finished the same on both sides, you are always going to have to do that little twist to get it to go the right way, which is not a big deal. All you're doing is making that one little turn and you're off and running. So that, I just wanted to tell you that in case you do use a type of ribbon that, you know, is not finished the same on both sides. But today I'm going to show you just on the ones that are, you know, just like this, finished on both sides. So let me go ahead and take a bunch of this ribbon off of the spool. Okay, so I've got a lot of the ribbon off the spool. I do not know if this is enough, but sometimes when you're getting it off the spool like this, it starts to twist and to turn like this, and then you have to have the one hand untangling your ribbon. So that's why I take some off to start with, and yeah, I may have to untangle it a little bit, but that's okay. But that just saves you a little bit of work there. Okay, so this right here is one of my tails. This is what is going to kind of hang down in front of the bow. That's one of my tails. And you can trim that later to be at the angle you want. I'm going to trim it up here now just because it's just bugging me a little bit that it's not, that it was just kind of crooked like that. Does that bother anybody else? Well, anyway, it just bothered me. So So this is my tail right here, and depends on how long you want it. I always much prefer to have a little bit longer tail than I think. That way, you know, I could trim it to the size I want. But if you can get that exactly what you want to start with, exactly the length, then you go right ahead. But I usually always have mine just a little bit longer. All right, so now your first loop is just like that. Now it depends on what you're going to decorate, how big you want your loop. You may want it smaller than this. You may want it bigger. So you're just going to expand that line just a little bit like that. Just bring out more of your ribbon, and then you're going to pinch it in the middle like so. All right, but now I'm going to make mine just a little bit smaller, but I'm just showing that you can adjust that very easily. Now, as I make my bow, you will notice that each of my loops is just a little bit bigger. And I usually like to have an odd amount of loops, so 5, 7, or 9 on each side. So I'm going to make my first little loop, and over here I'm going to make another loop. And see here, I do not have to twist and turn. I just am going to make the same size and tuck it right in there and just squeeze it together like this. I'm trying to turn this so you guys can see it, so I hope that you're seeing it well. Sometimes I get to doing and forget exactly where that my bow is not in the frame. So if I do that, I'm so sorry. So you are ready to make your next loop, and you, like I say, and you're gonna, I just work mine right behind each other. So I can tell that that loop is just a little bit longer than my first loop. And of course, I'm just going to pinch it right there in the middle. And sometimes this does get kind of bulky when you are pinching your ribbon. So hang on to it tight. And then of course my next one going right behind this one, and just a little bit longer like I made my other one. And of course I'm pinching it there in the middle. And that's all I'm doing this whole time I'm making my bow, is just making them a little bit bigger. Not much, but a little bit, and then pinching it. And it's so easy. I recommend that you start making a bow with just the one-sided ribbon. It just makes it a little easier for you. And then when you get the hang of it, then go over to the ribbon that's just one-sided. Then you can work on that twisting and turning part. So there we go. And I'm just going to squeeze in the middle again. And I'm going to continue doing that until I have, about 5 or 7, probably 7 little loops on each side. So see, I've got 1, 2, and 3 so far. And I want 7 on each side. So I'm just going to continue doing that. And this will make my 4th loop. This part right here, I don't know yet, but I may speed this up just a little bit in the video. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I better not, because some of you didn't want me to do that. So I'm not going to do that, okay? So now, I'm going to continue there. So there's 5. This is going to be our 5th loop. Just like so, continue pinching. Now see, it's getting a little bulkier there, getting a little bit harder for me to hang on to. But we're just going to keep on hanging on there, okay? So that is 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 more on each side. This 1, 2, so now we have 6 on each side, and this will be our last one, and it's getting harder to hang on to. And if it starts coming from behind, just a little bit and comes up here, it's okay. That's all right. Sometimes I can't keep them exactly behind because it does get kind of bulky. So you can just let those stick out there a little bit. That's going to be all right. All right. So there we go. There's number 7. Dun, 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 dun. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 little loops on each side. And like I say, just keep it an odd number. I think it looks better that way. So 5, 7, 9. And I've just got some floral wire here that I'm going to, now see, we can cut some of this off now because we know that's how big we want the bow. So we're just going to cut this off and I'll trim it up later. So then we don't have to worry about the rest of that bow. So we've got our two little tails there. Can you see them? Just like this. So we've got two tails hanging down now. And we're just going to tie it off in the middle and just make sure that it's very tight. You can use this floral wire. I love cloth covered floral wire, but you can use wire or a pipe cleaner or string, whatever you happen to have on hand. I always have floral wire on hand because, you know, I do a lot of that kind of stuff. But if you don't, just use whatever you have on hand. And this right here now will be used to attach to whatever project that I'm working on. Okay, so now, you know, that doesn't look so great. You know, it's all flat, it's smushed, it just doesn't look like a beautiful bow, but we're gonna fluff it and we're gonna make it pretty. All right, so let's take that wire out of the way a little bit. Okay, and I'm just going to take my loops like so, and I'm just gonna pull them in different directions. So we're gonna work this side first, and I'm just pulling them in different directions. All right, just pull these two in different directions, and see, you can already tell how that bow is coming together. And this one back here, I'm just going to fluff it up a little bit, and I'm going to leave it right in its place. So we're just going to fluff that up, and see, oh my goodness, there's already half your bow. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. All right, we're just going to bring those in different directions, and then these two in different directions. These two are going to pull as well, and then this last one we're just going to fluff it up here and put it where we think we need to put it. So let's move those wires out of the way, and see, there's your bow. Oh my goodness. And then when you've got it and you're looking at it, you can fluff it, and that's what I love about this wired stuff. You can move it around if it didn't go exactly where you wanted it, and you can just manipulate it until it's exactly what you want. So there you go. That is the way that I make my bows. And then you can trim up your little tails here. Just trim them up to whatever length that you want. Oops, and I did that backwards. But that's all right. If you do it backwards, you can fix it. But I usually leave the long side on the outside, and the little short side goes on the inside. So let me see if I can do this one right. There we go. So there's our little tails all trimmed up, and our bow is made, and that's how easy it is. I hope this helps you to learn to start to make your own bows. And like I said, do not know if this is the correct way, but this is the Leta way. So anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye now.